Hello, everyone. I want to start out by saying that I know this video is a little late. I know it's not a whole lot of late because I usually upload on Fridays and today's only Tuesday, but it is a little late. And the reason why it's late is I did have a video all planned out and ready to go, and I just had a few days where my mental wellness just wasn't there. And you'll notice a few things kind of different on this video. For one, I'm not eating. So it's just not one of those kind of days where I feel comfortable enough to eat anything on camera. Besides, I said I wasn't going to be one of those channels, which, don't get me wrong, I enjoy trying different things on camera. It's not anything like that. It's just that sometimes I feel it and sometimes I don't. Another thing is that instead of talking about a broad, generalized description of like mental wellness, I'm going to be talking more on me specifically and where, I fit into mental wellness. And I will be the first to say that my mental wellness as of late has not been that great. It really hasn't. Anyone who knows me could tell you that it's been a struggle. The struggle is real, folks. It has been just really, everything just seems to be a struggle. Getting up seems a struggle. Going to bed seems a struggle. Keeping a regular dietary course seems to be a struggle. Bathing seems to be a struggle. Taking my meds seems to be a struggle. And it's not that I don't want to. It has nothing to do with want and desire. It has to do with the fact that mentally, I'm just not in the place where I feel comfortable. And it has nothing to do with my environment. So don't think I'm in any danger or anything. It's all in my head. And I know it is because I have my children and my husband, and I have a roof over my head, and I have food on my table, and I have clothes on my back. And, generally nothing has changed. I go to my psychiatrist, and he's seen that I'm struggling. And his initial suggestion was, why don't you start making YouTube videos? That way you feel like you're talking to somebody. And don't get me wrong, talking to you has helped immensely. So I don't want anyone to feel like, well, she's just saying that we're not enough. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that in my mind, I'm not doing enough. And that's one of the struggles I face, is that I feel inadequate, not good enough, never good enough, never smart enough, just not enough. And I don't really know who I'm not enough for, because my husband obviously thinks I'm enough because he stays with me. My children think I'm enough because they care for me and they show that they love me. But in my mind, I'm missing something. And I guess that's where mental health comes in, because when everything is, I'm sorry, my hair's wet. I just got out of the shower a little while ago. Yay for me, by the way. Hey, you may not think a shower is a big step, but when you're going through a large mental struggle, a shower is like a big step in the positive direction. A lot of you are probably going, ew, she doesn't shower. No, I shower. I shower. It's just that sometimes it's a struggle to get in the shower. And today I was just like, it wasn't so struggling. I just like, well, it's time to take a shower, and I just did it. I have an alarm set for when I need to take a shower. And you have to do what works for you. And I feel like I've gotten off the topic when I mention that. I'm sorry if my thoughts seem all over the place. Like I said, it's been an incredibly challenging month, year. 2020 has not been kind to me mentally. And anyway, I had to come to the realization that a medication that I was on, that I had put a lot of hope into, is not cutting it anymore. And I'm having to go back to a medication that I thought I was going to be free from. And that kind of took a hard hit, because I didn't want to face reality and go, okay, this isn't working. I kept going. It'll get better. It'll get better. It'll get better. And it wasn't getting better. It was getting worse. Everybody was seeing it. There were outbursts. There was periods of depression. There was, and I hate to say it, but there was a little bit of self-harm. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want it to be that kind of video. But it just was a very dark place mentally. And I can admit that now. I can say that now because I can look back and see that I was on a destructive path. That I was acting out and I was putting my family through undue stress. Don't worry, my children were not affected. Thankfully, they have places to go. They don't have to be around it. There are, grandparents who are, more than willing to let them come and stay when things get bad. So they have no clue how bad it got. They just think that mommy needed a little break. So they got to stay at grandma and grandpa's for a while. And they were fine with it. I mean, nothing was out of the ordinary for them. They know that with, that I have, they don't know what it is, but they know that mommy has a sickness that sometimes makes her tired. And they go and stay with grandma and grandpa. And that's fine, There's nothing wrong with that. Now, as for my husband, bless his heart, he takes the brunt of everything. When I get bad, it gets bad. But don't think that I'm like constantly up and down, up and down. This hasn't happened in years. I mean, the last time I was in a mental place like this was probably, well, my youngest wasn't even born yet, so 3-4 years ago. Me and my husband were together, but it had been 3-4 years since he had seen me in this condition. And it started with one trigger that happened around January. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't like calling names and pointing fingers, and there's really no use for it anyway. But there was a trigger, and I thought that I had gotten over it. I thought that things were going fine. Things were not going fine. And that began my mental decline. Everybody else saw it, but I didn't see it. I could have seen it if I quit being so naive and sticking my head under the covers and acting like I have my blinders on and going, oh, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. You're just over-dramatizing. I had one bad day, but one bad day turned into one bad week, and one bad week turned into one bad month, and then people are like, you need to do something. And finally, I said, I need to do something. And I went to my doctor. I did what I was supposed to do. I picked up the phone and I said, I need to see you. And he was like, okay, that's fine. Because he knew something was going on. The last time he saw me, he said he knew something was going on. But he doesn't push. He lets me come to him when I'm ready. He'll ask, are you okay? Is everything okay? Your numbers are low. Something seems wrong. But if I say I'm okay, he won't push it. I don't know if he can, but he won't. So I went in and I spoke to him, and he's like, I've been talking to your, psychologist, and, I realized that, I'm sorry, it's a psychiatrist, and I can see that things were getting bad. He said, but I figured you'd come to me when you're ready. And here I was, ready. And so he just sat down and said, look, I know you were really excited about this new medicine. I know you put a lot of stock into it, but I'm just going to be level with you. Girlie, it's not working. And that was it. I didn't argue because I knew in my heart that it wasn't. And I'm not going to say I accepted defeat because I don't consider it defeat. I'm sorry, if you hear my young one, he's in the living room. He's safe. He's being watched after. He's watching cartoons. I would never leave my children unattended. He's just babbling. Now, I don't know if I've ever mentioned my youngest, but we're 90% sure that he has autism. And the reason why I say 90 instead of 100 is because we haven't had him tested yet, and I'm not a doctor. But everything points to that he has autism. He's 2.5. He's basically nonverbal. He hand flaps. He does everything that, an autistic child does. So everything points towards autism, but until I get those papers that say, yes, your son is autistic, I can't say, oh, yes, I'm 100% sure, because I'm not, there's no doctor title in front of my name. I'm just me. But everything points towards autism. So that's something else that faces our life on a daily basis, because we love our toddler. He is amazing. He is sweet. He is loving. Surprisingly, he doesn't throw tantrums. I don't know if that's something that comes later, but as of right now, we are tantrum free. So that's something, out of a toddler, that we are very lucky. Everybody tells us you're lucky. You're lucky. If he is autistic and he hasn't started throwing tantrums, you are very fortunate. Once again, I'm not sure if that's something that comes later on in life. I don't know. I don't know everything about autism. But I do follow, and if you ever get the chance, you should definitely check him out. It's called Fathering Autism. And the people there, the family there is amazing. They are wonderful. Definitely worth giving the time to. If you ever have the chance, it's called Fathering Autism. And they are amazing people. I follow them on the regular, and I definitely love their family and, their message and everything they do on the forefront of the autistic research. They're just amazing people. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Another thing that my doctor did talk to me about is that even though I'm doing my YouTube videos, maybe I need more social interaction. And I've always said, well, I need to be home for my son. He has his therapies. He has speech, occupational, and special instruction. And he said, well, there's a way you could do both. Just get a part-time job. It doesn't have to be a full-time job. Get a part-time job in the evenings, your husband to be home, and then you know that one of the parents is always with your child and he's not having to go into daycare. Talked to my husband. Found a job very easily. I knew I could because I have a good work history. I don't have a checkered work history. I'm not a troublemaker. I don't get in trouble with jobs. I make very little, very little, what I'm trying to say is I draw very little attention to myself. So I'm not like the troublemaker of, the town. So people are more willing to hire me because I do have a good work history before I started staying at home. So that's something in my favor. So I've already have somebody who's willing to at least give me a chance and perhaps hire me. It's not a for sure thing. Nothing's a for sure thing until you're signing those papers and you're checking, yourself in and, doing the time check-in thing. Nothing's for sure until you're clocking in, is what I'm saying. So I can't say, oh, I'm definitely hired, because that's not the case. That would be a lie. I'm just saying there's a good chance that I could be hired. As for my mental health, well, I'm going to start this medicine. I'm going to make a big change in my life. A little nervous, not going to lie. I'm going to continue to talk to all of you because you are all so lovely. And I love getting on here and sharing my thoughts. I'm sorry if this video wasn't as exciting as usual. I know I'm usually eating something new or doing something, but I promise that I am going to do a Valentine's Day video. I've got some really cute stuff that I can't wait to show you. And I just hope that if you all have a significant other and you celebrate Valentine's Day, that you're able to have a wonderful Valentine's Day. If not going out, then maybe just a quiet evening at home with each other. If you don't have a significant other, treat yourself. Take yourself out. Do something for yourself. Pamper yourself. If you can't afford to go out, do something at home, Cook yourself a nice meal. Rent yourself a nice movie. You know, Redbox is everywhere now. You know, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, because they all tie in together and they're all going to affect one another, which I know y'all love. Y'all already know that. Y'all are just lovely and smart people. So I'm probably not telling you anything new other than what's going on in my life. But I love all of you, and I will talk to you soon, and bye.